In the 29th match of the 2023 World Cup, India is facing England at the Bharat Ratna Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee Ekana Cricket Stadium in Lucknow. England chose to field after winning the toss. India batted first and reached a total of, Tasmin?
They are currently 208 for the loss of 8 wickets.
It's 208 for the loss of 8 wickets. Notably, Rohit Sharma scored 87 runs, securing his 54th ODI 50 and crossing the milestone of 18,000 runs in international cricket. Adil Rashid claimed 2 wickets, including Rohit and Ravindra Jadeja, while David Willey dismissed KL Rahul. Well, Indian captain Rohit Sharma, achievement of 18,000 runs in international cricket is in 475 innings, elevated him to exclusive club alongside Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Rahul Dravid and Saurav Ganguly. However, India had a challenging start, losing the early wickets. Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli departing at the earlier possible time. Well, I'm joined by 3 guests in the studio. Is Tasmin Granger, a lady who's played Zimbabwean cricket at the international level for 15 years. Harsimran Julka, who's alongside some fans, I hope not in the studio, in the stadium, and very soon will be joined by Christopher Pofu from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, who is with us throughout this campaign. Tasmin, I'd like to come to you. We had this chat in the morning and we said, if India has to lose, this is the best time for India to lose today. Do you still agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, you wouldn't want to be losing at the stage where it's a semi-final and, you know, it's a do-or-die situation, as well as you wouldn't entirely want to lose against South Africa, who are currently sitting at the top of the table. If it's now, let it be now. Let the points be tied. And you know the difference is between net run rate and when you do play South Africa, you know it's a top-of-the-table clash. You know it already is a do-or-die match.
Absolutely, when you know it's a do-or-die match, but India still has a breathing space right now. We want to find out what the mood is in the stadium, despite the fact India losing early wickets and scoring around something that they are used to score in the 30th over, which is just about 200 runs. Well, Harsimran Julka, who joins us from Lucknow. Hari, what is the mood out there amongst the fans? Where are you and how are the fans feeling right now?
Right. Yes, Sunil, thank you. Thank you for taking us from Lucknow. And you can see there's a lot of fans here who couldn't get tickets. And the tickets were available for almost 15,000, so 1,500 tickets. Some people just came and just was trying to sell. I just came out of the stadium because it's too much crowded and we couldn't get the reception there, internet reception. So this is a mall just outside the stadium. So I'm joining you from here, and the mood is electric outside and it's all blaring music, and Virat Kohli's out for duck was a really, really big dampener on everybody. And as you can see, a lot of fans are wearing the Virat T-shirt, and but they are still rooting for the team, even though Virat is out for duck. And they hope that India will beat England today in Lucknow.
Well, absolutely. Hope is all what we live for and we live in. Is Christopher Mpofu with us from Bulawayo? Chris, if you can hear us. All right, I think he'll join us soon. I want to ask you, Tasneem, do you think India needs to still rely on hope after what carnage and what the damage English bowlers have done to India?
Yeah, you know, I'm a firm believer, as you know, that this game is one of those games where it's not over until the last ball. So definitely, you know, whatever challenges they've faced out there, be it that the England bowlers have just managed to maximize on what the pitch has on to offer. Obviously, a couple of soft dismissals here and there for India, but take back into mind for the Indian batters as bowlers coming back out onto the field that England still have to bat on exactly the same pitch. There won't be much change as well on the pitch right now, so it's something to take into consideration. And I think what the seam bowling attack that they have, you know, Mohammad Shami at the top, they have Siraj, not leaving out man himself, of course, Jasprit Bumrah. I think there's still a bit of hope in their court as well. They take a leaf from England, you know, and Stark great in the power play. And even in that period when you're not exactly taking wickets, you're still containing the run rate. I think they just might be able to swing the ball back in their court, but it's definitely not looking in their favor right now.
Well, absolutely. Nothing seems to be in the favor of Indian cricket team right now, especially the batters. They're struggling right now. And let's look at the score, Tasneem. What is the latest do we have?
It's currently 215 for the loss of 8 in 47.2 overs.
Well, India seems to, before India walks into this amazing match, we've got some of the brilliant stats, what you see on your television. 18,000 runs for Rohit, 25,000 runs for fastest for an Indian. Of course, we've got individual milestone, but when it comes to the team performance today, I think we lost the plot. What went wrong for India? Is it the technique? Is it the speed at which they were going, or is it just the law of averages that caught up with the Indian team?
Yeah, I think it can be a lot of things. We've seen so far a lot of every other game besides this game.
Right.
They've been chasing the totals, and today they were obviously lost the toss to England and sent in to have a bat first. So it can play a mental part when you believe that physically you guys are obviously a stronger batting side when chasing as opposed to setting a target. Maybe guys went through their processes a lot different. We've seen after the loss of the wicket of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma trying to play the anchoring role and give his teammates the chance to bat around him. But obviously it didn't work for him. He had a bit of an LBW scare, and from that moment on, you just see him tee off, being the Rohit Sharma everybody knows, So I think it has a bit of a difference in the mental process of how you go about the innings.
Chris, happy to have you back. Technical issues. As we keep on saying, the Indian batting today is as good or as bad as your technical internet connection. Would you agree?
Definitely. So those days where my favorite team is not doing its best as I normally see them, and also on my side, the network is doing the same thing.
Well, absolutely. David Willey, 10 overs, 2 maiden, 45 runs, 3 wickets. Were you impressed with how he bowled today?
Absolutely. He came in the games where he was really battered and hit a lot, back to have such figures, and it's good to see also England having faith in him, using that new ball and him being ahead of Sam Curran and other guys. It's good to see him, paying by such a performance.
Absolutely. Chris, I think we'll wait for your signal to get stronger, like we expect Indian bowling to cast its web around the English batting. But Tasneem, let's understand. Did we play those shots? Just take us through the dismissal so that it's easier for us to deconstruct it in front of our fans. Go on, Tasneem.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, well bowled from the English up front. Like you said, David Wiley was brilliant for me as well. Not to mention that they bowled in partnerships for me today. You had Chris Wilkes coming from the other end. You could see he had batsmen guessing. The Shubman Gill dismissal alone should tell you that today he was at his top game. You had him swinging the ball away. First 2 or 3 overs, he had ball number 5, ball number 6, probably swinging back into the right-hander. And it brings question, but then you see him 2 or 3 overs later switching it up, and it's away and back inside instantly when a batsman's already decided they've read the bowler and either ball 4, 5, 6 looking for the in-swinger, but then you have him bringing the in-swinger early on up in the innings. So I believe that's what left Shubman Gill playing a very loose drive and getting bowled between the gap between bat and pad,
Well, absolutely. Shreyas Iyer wasn't far behind. In this World Cup, he scored 0 against Australia, 25 not out against Afghanistan. Pakistan, he scored significantly better versus Bangladesh, 19 versus New Zealand, 33, and against England was 4. Do you rate him bad or worse?
I think for me, he's having a tough campaign. It hasn't been the easiest for him out there. I'm not entirely sure what may be going on in the thinking, I would have liked to see, obviously, them bring in a guy like, Ashwin today and give Ashwin a chance to see what he could do as well. I think there could have been something on offer for him with the ball as well. And it gives you more of a bigger, broader spectrum to use your bowling order around. Right now, they currently just have only 5 bowlers in their side, so they needed each and every batsman that was there to go out and go firing for them today.
But if you have a top-heavy batter. Chris, if your connection is better now, can we move on?
Can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you go with very delicate combination of top-heavy batters and specialist bowlers who can't bat, do you think it creates a little bit of a ruffle between the team management and the opposition? Your views?
It does a lot. That's why I always been a fan when it's unfortunate that Hardik got in. So you've got this lineup. Once the top struggles, even the little middle order that you have, if they, you've got about almost like a.
I think we're losing out on Christopher. Sadly, we don't have his connection to the point. You want to come in and clarify? 230 should be a good enough for on this pitch. We are at 221. Do we have a fighting chance, Tasmin?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to back up and just finish off where Chris was, because I get his line of thinking. You know, it is a lot harder when you have, like you said, specialist batsmen at the top of the order and then just specialized bowlers that do not entirely bat. These are the instances where you would rely, as Chris has said, on a Hardik Pandya to be in your squad, to be able to carry, you know, the momentum from where probably Shiraz Air would have missed the chance as well, or KL Rahul coming out early enough. You need that Hardik in your squad that's able to carry the end overs for you. You can see the acceleration rate for India hasn't been the greatest from anywhere around the 35th over where their collapse started. So to answer your question, do I think that 230 possibly is enough? No. But take into consideration the fact that the English batting order hasn't been at its greatest either right now. So I think it's going to be a good competition, in all honesty, for you.
Well, if it's going to be a good competition, the fans are really going to enjoy. Let me go back to Lucknow, to my colleague out there, Harsimran. Harsimran, you still, we can still see some movement around with the fans. Do you think it would be good for them if India was to score 230, because they'll get something to cheer about? At least it goes on to a long innings rather than just a 200 and 175 what we were looking at.
Yes. Now, what they are thinking is that India would definitely score around 230, 235. But the mood is electric here, and everybody's rooting for India. So I think the atmosphere definitely goes for the Indian team, even for the lower and middle order batsmen. And so let's see what happens. Even if that doesn't work out, I think we've got a strong bowling attack going forward in the second innings, and then let's see what happens. And but still, we can see the fans are rooting for India. Are you rooting for India or England? Who's going to win today? India.
Well, of course, Tasneem, I'm going to come to you. Of course, the fan rooting always happens outside the stadium, and these are the unfortunate ticket. The guys who were looking for ticket couldn't get it. But let's shift our focus to something more statistical right now. Do you think what the power play looks like will be good for India if India was to contain them below 40 and take a couple of wickets? Is that what the template looks like?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you wouldn't want to have them scoring anywhere near 6 runs and over, because that obviously puts them in a comfortable position as well to be ahead of the actual required run rate. Getting more than 2 wickets would definitely be a plus. It would be a bonus. Taking into consideration the likes of the batsmen that England does have at the top, you know, they have Joe Root, they have guys like that have the ability. Joe Root, for me, has the ability to be that complex player that's able to come out there and stick around, you know, and be there long enough to frustrate bowlers to change their lines and look for plans.
Well, absolutely. Well, we have a fall of wicket which starts from the first wicket was to fall at 26, 27th was the second, third was on 40, 131, 164, 182 and 183. Do you think it is a collapse in cluster, as we've explained? And tell our viewers what it means to have a collapse in big clusters.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've seen there was a point in time where just after the loss of the third wicket, the fourth wicket, you did see a partnership build between Rohit as well. And they managed to restabilize the game, you know, and put a bit of a backbone back into the game. But when they lost wickets again, they lost them, cluster being the meaning of every other over, once or twice or 3 times in a row, not having more than a partnership of maybe, say, 30 to 40 runs built to show the restabilization. And what that actually does is it puts pressure on guys still sitting in the changing room. It puts pressure on guys saying to themselves, what is actually going on out there. The fact that everybody coming in is just walking back to the changing room without even coming back with any productive analysis to tell the rest of the team.
Well, when that happens, what goes inside the dressing room? I mean, in the mind and the thoughts of the players out there, and suddenly what is the problem there? Because it rubs on the positives and the negatives. They rub on to the players, you know.
Definitely. So you have guys asking themselves questions like, is it the pitch? Is it the bowler? You know, you don't know, because usually what happens is...
Let me just hold you here. Is it the pitch? Is it the bowling of English side? Tell me, what is the cause for this great disaster for Indian outing today?
I think, you know, England's done well enough. They've used the pitch to their advantage. You know, we did a bit of an analysis in the morning on the pitch and the conditions of it, and you find that it has a bit of offer for the seam bowlers this morning, and they've managed to actually pitch the ball up and ask those questions. We've seen a couple of edges getting nicked off but not carrying to the first slip, and that just shows you there is something out there.
Absolutely, there's something out there. Let's go to Harsimran and ask what is the weather right now and how is it looking out there in Lucknow? Harsimran?
Right.
Yeah.
The weather is not too hot or not too cool. I think it's like a pleasant weather. But all the roads lead to Ekana Stadium, which is on the outskirts of Lucknow, and it is a huge traffic jam everywhere on the highway as well. And people from outside Lucknow have also come to see the match, and especially from the far-flung villages of UP. And it's a great. It's not every day that we can see the England team and the Indian cricket team played out in their neighborhood. So everybody from small towns, from even Bahraich and Barabanki and all these places, people have come out and to support Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and team. And they're definitely rooting for the boys, even if the going gets tough. They are hopeful that India is going to win the match today against England.
Absolutely. India is hoping to do that. Well, currently 3 balls to go. We are at 228 for 8, unless Tasmin is watching on her Zimbabwean DSTV account.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is the score, you know. 330, 335, maybe even 230, 235 a possibility for India. And I personally don't think it's enough on the board. But like we said, they've got a world-class bowling team in their arsenal as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize the conditions.
When was the last time India was asked or underlined as the challenger and a contender at the same time?
Yeah, you know, we haven't seen them sit in this position all World Cup right now as well. They definitely been looking as strong as ever. And what this does do is anybody else that's still waiting for the opportunity to play them automatically will win the toss and send them in to have a bat.
Well, absolutely. We're all hoping out here, including the fans, not only in Ekana Stadium and around that, but also across the world, hoping that India makes a comeback with the bowling this time. The batters have done their job. Not good enough total, but you never know. This is a fighting pitch. This can turn, this can hold on to the seam, and then perhaps, you never know, Indians can take the wickets in cluster as they had given it to the English.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.